Have you ever imagined that Europe could become hotter than parts of the Middle East? Right now, millions of people across Europe are facing record-breaking temperatures. Roads are melting under the blazing sun, wildfires are spreading across forests, rivers are shrinking, and governments are warning people to stay indoors. But the most shocking part is that scientists believe this is no longer just another hot summer. It could be a glimpse into the future of our planet. So why is Europe experiencing such extreme heat? Is climate change the only reason, or is something even bigger happening? And most importantly, can this crisis still be stopped? Let's find out. For decades, Europe was known for its pleasant summers, green landscapes, and mild climate. Tourists from around the world traveled there to enjoy comfortable weather. But over the past few years, that picture has started to change dramatically. Every summer seems hotter than the last one. Countries like Spain, Italy, France, Greece, and Portugal are repeatedly breaking temperature records that were once considered impossible. In some places, temperatures have climbed above 45 degrees Celsius. That's hot enough to damage roads, disrupt transportation, and put millions of lives at risk. Hospitals receive thousands of heat-related patients, while emergency services remain on constant alert. So what exactly is causing this? The biggest reason is climate change. Every day, humans burn massive amounts of coal, oil, and natural gas to produce electricity, power vehicles, and run industries. These activities release huge amounts of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. Think of Earth's atmosphere like a blanket. Normally, some of the sun's heat escapes back into space. But greenhouse gases make that blanket thicker, trapping more heat around the planet. As more heat gets trapped, global temperatures continue to rise year after year. However, climate change alone doesn't explain why Europe is heating up so quickly. Another major factor is something scientists call a heat dome. Imagine placing a giant invisible lid over an entire region. High-pressure air traps hot air close to the ground. Instead of rising into the atmosphere and cooling down, the hot air keeps circulating underneath this invisible dome. Every new day becomes even hotter than the previous one because the heat has nowhere to escape. This is exactly what has happened during many of Europe's recent heat waves. Then comes another problem: dry soil. Normally, after rainfall, the ground contains moisture. When sunlight hits wet soil, part of the sun's energy goes into evaporating water, naturally cooling the land. But when the soil becomes dry after long periods without rain, that cooling effect disappears. Instead, almost all the sun's energy directly heats the ground, making temperatures rise even faster. This creates a dangerous cycle. Hot weather dries the soil. Dry soil makes temperatures even hotter. Hotter temperatures cause even more evaporation, leading to even drier conditions. Europe has been trapped in this cycle more frequently over the last several years. Cities make the problem even worse. Modern cities are filled with concrete buildings, asphalt roads, parking lots, and glass skyscrapers. These materials absorb enormous amounts of heat during the day. Even after the sun sets, they slowly release that stored heat back into the air throughout the night. That's why nights in major European cities often remain uncomfortably hot, giving people very little relief from the daytime temperatures. Scientists call this the urban heat island effect, and it can make city temperatures several degrees warmer than nearby rural areas. As temperatures continue rising, the impacts spread far beyond simple discomfort. Water supplies begin to shrink. Major rivers lose water levels. Farmers struggle to irrigate their crops. Hydroelectric dams generate less electricity because there isn't enough flowing water. Even drinking water can become limited in some regions. And this is only the beginning. As rivers continue to dry up, the effects spread far beyond the environment. Agriculture becomes one of the biggest victims. Crops like wheat, corn, grapes, olives, and vegetables depend on a steady supply of water. But when weeks pass without rain and temperatures remain extremely high, plants begin to die before they can be harvested. Farmers lose millions of dollars every year because of heat waves and droughts. Food production drops, and when supply decreases while demand stays the same, prices begin to rise. That means extreme heat in Europe doesn't only affect Europeans, it can influence food prices around the world. But perhaps the most dangerous consequence of extreme heat is wildfire. When forests become dry, they turn into fuel waiting for a single spark. A lightning strike, an unattended campfire, or even a discarded cigarette can ignite massive fires that spread rapidly with strong winds. Countries like Greece, Spain, Portugal, Italy, and France have all experienced devastating wildfires in recent years. Entire villages have been evacuated. Thousands of homes have been destroyed. Millions of trees have burned, along with countless animals that couldn't escape the flames. Ironically, these wildfires release even more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, making climate change worse and increasing the chances of future heat waves. It's a vicious cycle. Extreme heat causes fires. Fires release more greenhouse gases. More greenhouse gases trap more heat. And the next heat wave becomes even stronger. The impact on human health is equally alarming. When temperatures stay above 40 degrees Celsius for several days, the human body struggles to cool itself. Sweating can only do so much. Without enough water, dehydration sets in quickly. Heat exhaustion can develop within hours. If left untreated, it can turn into heat stroke, a life-threatening condition where the body's temperature rises uncontrollably. Doctors say older adults, young children, pregnant women, and people with heart or lung diseases are especially vulnerable. During severe European heat waves, thousands of excess deaths have been linked to extreme temperatures. Even healthy people are not completely safe. Construction workers, delivery drivers, farmers, and anyone working outdoors face serious risks when exposed to prolonged heat. Scientists are also noticing another worrying trend. Europe's glaciers are melting faster than ever before. The Alps, which provide fresh water to millions of people, are losing ice every single year. As glaciers shrink, rivers receive less meltwater during summer, making drought conditions even worse. This creates long-term water shortages that could affect future generations. Many experts now believe Europe is becoming one of the fastest warming regions on Earth. The evidence is everywhere. Longer summers, shorter winters, more frequent heat waves, more intense droughts, and stronger wildfires. The question is no longer whether climate change is happening. The real question is how prepared we are for what comes next. So, can Europe stop this extreme heat? The honest answer is not overnight. Climate change is a global problem, and no single country can solve it alone. Even if Europe completely stopped producing greenhouse gases today, the gases already trapped in the atmosphere would continue affecting the climate for many years. But that doesn't mean nothing can be done. Across Europe, governments are investing billions of dollars in renewable energy like solar and wind power. More electric vehicles are replacing gasoline and diesel cars. Coal-fired power plants are being shut down, while cleaner sources of energy are expanding every year. Cities are also changing the way they are built. More trees are being planted because trees naturally cool the air through shade and evaporation. Green roofs are being added to buildings to reduce heat absorption. Parks are expanding, and new construction projects are using materials that reflect sunlight instead of trapping heat. Scientists are developing better weather forecasting systems that can warn people days before dangerous heat waves arrive. Hospitals and emergency services are creating special heat emergency plans to protect the elderly and other vulnerable people. But governments alone cannot solve this crisis. Every individual has a role to play. Using less electricity, reducing unnecessary fuel consumption, conserving water, planting trees, recycling waste, and supporting clean energy may seem like small actions, but when millions of people do them together, the impact becomes enormous. The future of Europe's climate will depend on the choices made today, not only by governments, but by businesses and ordinary people around the world. Because climate change doesn't recognize borders, the carbon dioxide released in one country affects every country on Earth. That's why international cooperation is more important now than ever before. If the world continues reducing greenhouse gas emissions, scientists believe future warming can still be limited. But if emissions continue to rise, heat waves like the ones Europe is experiencing today could become even more frequent, more intense, and more dangerous. Europe's extreme heat is more than just another news story. It is a warning a warning that our planet is changing faster than many people expected. The roads that soften under the sun, the forests consumed by flames, the rivers running dry, and the record-breaking temperatures are all sending the same message. The climate is changing, and the decisions humanity makes over the next few years will shape life for generations to come. The question isn't whether Europe is getting hotter, it already is. The real question is whether the world will act fast enough before today's extreme heat becomes tomorrow's normal. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who cares about the future of our planet. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.